Greetings, this is the Mad Hermit, and I'm with you today to do a fiction piece reading. And today we're going to revisit a book that I read an excerpt from before. And no, it is not Gift from the Sea. Actually, it is something that we read from C.S. Lewis. It's The Great Divorce. And this is another excerpt of this wonderful piece of imagery, of symbolism, a tale of a man who goes from hell to visit heaven. And keep in mind, this is just an allegorical representation of C.S. Lewis's view of heaven. It's not meant to be treated literal, and it's not really exactly biblically doctrinal, but nonetheless is a very well written piece. I have the book with me. I showed it in my last video excerpt of The Great Divorce reading. Again, this is available at any bookstore, Barnes & Noble, Borders, Amazon.com, etc. And I'm going to read a little excerpt from it. We met several ghosts that had come so near to heaven only in order to tell the celestials about hell. Indeed, this is one of the most commonest types. Others, who had perhaps been, like myself, teachers of some kind, actually want to give lectures about it. They brought fat notebooks full of statistics and maps, and one of them a magic lantern. Some wanted to tell anecdotes of the notorious sinners of all ages whom they had met below, but for the most part seemed to think that the mere fact of having contrived for themselves so much misery gave them a kind of superiority. "You have led a sheltered life," they bawled. "You don't know the seamy side. We'll tell you. We'll give you some hard facts," as if to tinge heaven with infernal images and colors had only been the purpose for which they came. All alike, so far as I could judge from my own exploration of the lower world, were wholly unreliable, and all equally incurious about the country in which they had arrived. They repelled every attempt to teach them, and when they found that nobody listened to them, they went back one by one to the bus. This curious wish to describe hell turned out, however, to be the mildest form of a desire very common among the ghosts, the desire to extend hell, to bring it bodily, if they could, into heaven. There were tub-thumping ghosts who, in thin, bat-like voices, urged the blessed spirits to shake off their fetters, to escape from their imprisonment in happiness, to tear down the mountains with their hands, to seize heaven for their own. Hell offered her cooperation. There were planning ghosts who implored them to dam the river, cut down the trees, kill the animals, build a mountain railway, smooth out the horrible grass and moss and heather with asphalt. There were materialistic ghosts who informed the immortals that they were deluded, there was no life after death, and this whole country was a hallucination. There were ghosts, plain and simple, more bogies, fully conscious of their own decay, who had accepted the traditional role of the spectre, and seemed to hope they could frighten someone. I had no idea that this desire was possible. But my teacher reminded me that the pleasure of frightening is by no means unknown on earth, and also, as Tacitus saying, "They terrify lest they should fear." When the debris of a decayed human soul finds itself crumbled into ghosthood and realizes, "I myself am now that which all humanity has feared. I am just that cold churchyard shadow, that horrible thing which cannot be yet somehow is," then to terrify others appear to it and escape from the doom of being a ghost yet still fearing ghosts. Fearing even the ghost it is, for to be afraid of oneself is the last horror. This has been a reading, an excerpt reading from The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. Again, if you wish to comment about this reading, feel free to comment, and comment on my blog if you desire to. And this has been the Mad Hermit, and I am signing off. Happy reading.